Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Join today from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin, and ours our friend Tiffany Schultz. Tiffany, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about don't fall for sports betting scams. Whether it's the big game coming up to just sports betting in general, it's definitely blown up over the past several years because it became legal in a lot of states. Not everywhere, but you definitely got to be aware before you take part in this. We're not condoning or uncondoning or standing by one way or the other, but certainly there are sports betting scams out there. And Tiffany, we definitely got to be looking out for these things.
Scammers follow the news, and the big game and other major sporting events really give scammers the opportunity. And it's easy to online sports bet. And you can do it via websites, you can do it via apps, but you really need to do your homework before you go ahead and place that bet because scammers have taken advantage of the opportunity, like they always do, and they want your personal and financial information.
So let's talk about one of the scams that has come up here on just a simple placing a bet. Seems like it's legit. Not.
Simply placing a bet is not always simply placing a bet. So you go online to a website that looks really legitimate and you go ahead and you place your bet. You win some money, so it's time to cash out, right? Well, it's not easy to cash out because the scammer who you're dealing with, whether other than a legitimate website, is going to give you excuses about why you can't cash out. Maybe you need to pay money to get your money. Maybe they need additional identity uh, protection in order for you to get your money. They make it hard to get your money because it's a scam. It's not a legitimate gambling site.
Yeah, and it's just hard because there are so many that have popped up. Like, and you, if you're new to the game, you might not necessarily know if it is legit. But using some of those classic things to avoid being scammed or stay true to no matter what we're talking about, right?
Right. You always want to look for an established approved service. So do your homework. It is so important to do your homework. And you're going to want to look for those whitelisted books that have been approved by the area's gaming commission. ESPN actually has a list where sports betting is legal. So it's a great place to start. If you're not sure where to start, just don't Google it. Go to those trusted websites and those trusted companies to get answers how to move forward.
Yeah, not every state actually allows you to bet, so you gotta like start really even honing in on is it legal because that could be a really good starting spot to be like, oh, I can't even do that in this state. So something to know there. Don't fall for tempting ads. This keeps coming up on a lot of variety of things we've talked about in the past, but these ads are targeted at specific times of the year and don't always mean they're legit.
Scammers buy ads from legitimate companies and they may show up in your email, maybe a pop up box on your computer, even a website ad, a YouTube ad. They are buying an ad to get your attention and to lure you to their site instead of a legitimate site. So be careful with what you click on.
Common thing we see is incentives. So they're like, we're going to give you $100 to have fun with. Is that too good to be true?
Many of these websites and apps offer new people, new clients, an incentive to use their site over somebody else's, but you really want to look at their terms and conditions and read all of the fine print before you go ahead and bet, because you could be betting with a scammer and not necessarily the legitimate site.
And then finally, even if you're using a legitimate sports betting site, they have the right to freeze your winnings. What does this mean?
So the legitimate site can also freeze your winnings for whatever reason they want. Maybe they do need additional identification from you. Maybe you didn't read the terms and conditions completely, and there's some other hoops that you have to jump through. So read those terms and conditions. That fine print, again, is so important. Know what you're getting into before you place that bet.
And finally, report these things. So, I mean, sports betting, while it's not that new, it's still pretty new. But regardless of if you ever get scammed on any front, it's good to report these things so we can, again, share this information out with the public and try to find these fraudsters, right?
Report it to us at bbb.org/scam tracker. Your report helps to warn others of the scams taking place in the marketplace. Sometimes these scams are originating from overseas, but knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we're going to be able to stay away and not fall victim to these scams.
Well, we support whatever you want to do out there. We don't condone betting, or whether you want to do it, whatever you want to do. What I want to say here is certainly do your research, no matter what you're doing out there, to be safe. And if people want to learn more about this or any way to stay safe these days when it comes to scams or frauds or anything else, I mean, you guys got a wealth of knowledge there on your website.
Head on over to bbb.org.
All right, thank you so much, and we'll see you back here next month.
Thanks for having me.